Well. Good evening, friends of the Toxic Reality Show. I'm your host. My goodness, it's been a minute. Gordon Nathaniel, bringing an exciting new episode this Tuesday. Gentlemen, my apologies. Had a technical issue going on with the video that I'm about to play for you, and I needed to correct it to make sure we get the full grasp of what we're talking about here. Now, one of my viewers sent me this clip of a lady's show. She's a podcaster, very successful, has over 650,000 subscribers. We're working on getting there. Gentlemen, with your help, we'll get there. Again, this is a shameful plug. To like and subscribe, the Toxic Reality Show needs your support. Anyway, what we're going to be talking about today is this ambivalence, this allergic reaction modern women seem to be having towards the idea of 50-50 split on expenses. That being said, okay, so you either are a woman contributing to the household or you're not. Traditional males, we're talking pre-1960s, 1950s, there was one income provider in the home. It was the man. And traditionally, you go back to the Beaver Cleaver days, the wife stayed at home. She was the caretaker. A lot of times she was responsible for handling the finances. The husband traditionally would go out, make the money. He would bring home a paycheck. Wife would deposit said check, sit at the kitchen table and do all the expenses and pay all the bills. That way, she knows exactly how much money we got in this household. So don't ask me for a washing machine when you know we only got $50 in the bank account and the washing machine is $70. Right? So it kind of helps to keep the whole couple in check. And the wife was entrusted with one of the most major decisions. And she was there to influence the children, educate. I mean, you go back 100 years, and the wife was home teaching the kids how to read. Right? When the husband was out being what traditionally his role would be, whether it would be provider, protector, leader. Somehow, modern society has forgotten the importance of food, shelter, and clothing, and will instead entrust the mother with responsibility and caretaking of the children in a case of divorce, as if the father providing food, shelter, and clothing was nothing, not to be appreciated, or not even an equal partnership in the household. I guess the modern court system and society would prefer that the husband just abandon the family and leave the mother and the children destitute without food, shelter, and clothing, because him out there working means nothing. No, because of his efforts, the mother was able to stay home with the children, to schedule the doctor's appointments, to take the children to all of these activities. They were a unit. They worked together. So, all of that to say, we're going to get into this podcaster. I mean, it is unreal, but what we're going to do is we're just going to let her go.
Welcome to the channel. Sorry, y'all, I had some technical difficulties. I had to switch location in my little office or do my level up cosmetics. And the signal in my bedroom is not as strong as it is in the rest of the house. So I moved locations. So now you can see my little makeshift office over here. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about grown men don't go 50-50. Now, I know a lot of y'all boys and broke men who have made it to their status.
I'm going to stop you right there. Know the signs, gentlemen. And what do we mean by when we talk about how these women will try to go ahead and get you on the signs, right? Here's the techniques. Know the signs: shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right. Already out the gate, she's connotating you are not a man unless you allow yourself to be taken advantage of financially and exploited. So you are a boy, a little boy. But let's continue.
In life, it's okay to go 50-50 if you're living with a male roommate, maybe a family member. But if you have a girlfriend or wife or fiance or whatever, she don't need to be paying rent. She don't need to be paying no type of bills in the house. Ladies, I know a lot of y'all were desperate. Issues back in the day and probably agree with that sort of relationship. But if you really think about it,
a lot of you are desperate for a man. I'm trying to stop from stopping and playing, but there's key lines that you have to understand. And again, and why are we here with this show? We're here to prepare you to be armed, to not walk into the footsteps of the mess that she's laying, and the advice, counsel that she's giving to almost 1 million subscribers who are sharing with other women this flawed mentality that you are a boy if you don't pay all the bills. Now, you're going to hear my take on it, and I'm going to surprise you at the end. So, I'll give you a hint. She's not entirely incorrect. Continue.
You're not supposed to be paying and sleeping with him. It's either one or the other. Okay? It's you either a roommate or you a girlfriend. What's it going to be? Now, I think a lot of people don't realize this.
Key point. Even a roommate pays bills. So, if you're saying that you're either going to sleep with him or not, there's a term when we talk about the exchange of currency or goods or services, we're talking about prostitution. And the problem, and you'll see a future episode I'm going to talk about, is modern women have embraced prostitution or pay to play for sex. So if you are willing to compete, modern women, with prostitutes, the advantages of prostitutes are each sexual session is only $150 to $500, depending on the caliber, depending on how frequent you see her. Clearly, you get a volume discount. In addition, prostitution affords variety. So if a man is of means, meaning we're talking about over 6 figures, if a man is of means and can afford it, then exclusivity or monogamy cannot be on the table. Right? I mean, let's embrace this. If we're going to talk and say we're talking about prostitution is okay to pay for sex or companionship, and that is the exchange, my responsibility is to pay, then it's sex when I want it, how I want it, with who I want it, and how many I want it. There will be no, I'm not in the mood, I'm tired. Your responsibility, if I make sure this whole thing works, the roof, the food, the shelter, in exchange for me providing all of those things, if I come to you for counsel, your opinion will be noted. But at the end of the day, the decision is mine. And given that, again, the words no can never come out of your mouth if I am paying all the bills. And in addition, there's no point of you working. You stay at home. You nurture the children. You feed and cook and provide for me. If I don't like what you cooked, you make me something different. Because you like that the lights are on 24/7. You like and enjoy that there's food, shelter, and clothing. That always is consistent. So if I'm supposed to provide that every day, every minute, every hour, every second, you are on call. So let's understand the fair exchange. You can't say, I want a traditional man relationship, but I'm going to be a modern woman. And the other side, the other part of this also continuing. And I love that one key aspect that she's not mentioning is where we live. No. If I'm a man and I'm making $50,000 a year, average salary, right? We're going to buy I'm going to buy a brownstone that's beat up in Baltimore for $3,000. And we're going to live in the basement until I fix the entire home and convert the 4-story brownstone row house townhome into 3-4 bedrooms. 1 for us, 3 for our children. And we will live in that. No, we're not buying some 10,000 square foot home for $1 million, $2 million, $5 million. Oh, no. My job is to provide shelter, food, shelter, clothing, right? Let's continue.
But especially if you date an older guy or a guy that makes more money than you shouldn't be paying nothing. Period. Okay? So make sure you understand this. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. If you agree to it, it's your fault, ladies. Let me repeat that. If you agree upon moving in with a grown, able-bodied man, and you agree to pay anything up in that utility, up in that rent, up in that insurance, up in whatever, it's your fault. Because you didn't value yourself enough to go find a real man that could do one thing. And then you always wonder why he ain't doing this, why he can't do that, why he don't feel the same way, why he don't love you more, why he ain't giving you attention. Because he don't have to. You're not a priority because you're just a roommate. And if you weren't paying 50-50 or any of the bills, would you even be there?
T-Man, are you seeing this? Nick, nice. Somebody tell me, what planet are they living on? Madam, you would rather struggle 100% than split 50-50, 70-30. I thought y'all wanted to find a man to build with. Oh, you really don't want to build, do you? No, you just want to extract, exploit, deplete of all resources. Those are called parasites. They latch onto a host and suck them blood dry, then move on to another host. Sound familiar? In the same way that prostitutes engage. There's a monetary transaction. For many men, the wife ain't putting up enough anyway. If you're not having sex, again, did a show on this, if you are not orgasming 4 times per week, your chance of prostate cancer is increased by 30%. Google it. Studies already been out for years. So if your wife ain't taking care of you to make sure that happens 3-4 times a week, she's low-key killing you. And you're better served finding you a regular for $150 a pop, $600 a week, Hell, even if you spend $1,000 a week, that's $52,000 a year on having 4 times a week, potentially 4 different women, or you just go all out, a different one every time. But you are better served, according to the logic that we're hearing here by SheRaSeven, that the logic would be better. Why, if I'm making 150, 100, 200,000 a year, why not just pay somebody? No obligation, no court, no child support. None of that. You got guys paying $1,000 a month for child support. You could be getting knocked off 5, 6, 7 times a month. Right? Instead of putting up with this nonsense. What he said, Jonathan said, fatherless women, bro. A lot of grandmothers will never have been married. Torres said, I say let them struggle. They love that. Elmer, wait a minute. I want to know who her husband is. Bruh, I ain't trying to make this personal because you know she going to do a response video to this. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, are you married? Because I'm not a perfect man. I'm not the God's gift to women by any stretch of the to be able to speak like she's saying. If you a dusty broke boy, if you don't allow me to hang you and destroy you. But let's continue.
A lot of women don't realize this. Would he even want you still if you could not contribute to him? The answer is probably no. You wouldn't be there if you couldn't pay to be there. I'm going to repeat that. Ladies, you wouldn't be there if you couldn't pay to be there. That means you're paying to live with a grown man because you are not good enough to go find a man that will pay for you and be a full provider.
Here's the delusion. Another delusional point. The average salary in the United States, and that means there's some men that make less, there's some men that make more. The average is less than $50,000 a year. I've heard numbers anywhere from 35 to 45. But let's go with the high end on the average, 45. Now, depending on where you're living, 45 ain't jack. You would literally have to relocate. Gentlemen, you've heard me say this before. If you have a remote job or you can find a job in the Maryland, Baltimore area, they are selling homes for $1. At worst, you pay a few thousand and you spend the weekends looking at YouTube videos and repair that house and make it yours. And then you are into it for $75,000, all your own money that you've worked every week to fix and build your nest. Then you sit out in front like the robin bird with your chest out. This is what I've built. I own this outright. I don't owe nobody nothing, no mortgage. Come on, little birdie, and come rock with me. She ain't got to worry about the mortgage, and neither do you. But for her to say, to equate that you're just a roommate, and you're supposed to, oh, if he ain't willing to pay all the bills, then he's just a dusty, broke boy. And you need to find this delusional concept of a man that they have, because that's not the average guy. So understand, 8 out of 10 of you are pursuing the same 2 dudes. So if that is what's going on, not all of you are going to have that guy. And what's happening is, what is it, 30% is around the figure of the men are responsible, especially in the black community, for all of the children. 50 to 60% of black men don't have kids. So y'all are having babies with the same dudes. But talking about monogamy when you clearly practice polygamy. Riddle me that. That being said, woosah. Let's continue with this lunacy. But it's it's fascinating to understand the mindset. She would rather struggle individually with her cats and dogs and box wine. And with 650,000 subscribers, oh, she making money just doing videos. Oh, best believe she's six figures on her own. But you're not even speaking here. Toxic Reality Show. I'm talking to average guys. I'm talking to blue collar guys. I'm talking to white collar guys that are making that bread. And encouraging men, how can you leverage yourself? If you ain't have no mortgage, you ain't got no rent to pay, it's a completely different argument when you making 50 a year. 50 a year, bruh? And you ain't got no mortgage or rent? That's one of the biggest expenses. I encourage you to look into Baltimore. Let's continue.
That's what it means. It means you don't love yourself enough. And they don't love you enough to pay all of it. If you really just sit and think with that for a little while, if you talk to whoever you're roommating with, because that's what it is, if you talk to whoever you're roommating with about that and how you feel about it.
I thought you were building. That's what y'all always say. I'm looking for a man to build with so we can build the future together. So now it's you ain't building no more. You just selling ass, right? Ladies, just say it. At least be honest about it, right? I'm selling ass. That's what you're doing. And to the highest bidder. And if you ain't willing to pay, I'm going to find some other sucker simp to go ahead and pay for this washed out, used, retread, boom, boom. I said it. I said it. I said it. You ain't bringing no virgin. Look, another show I'm going to do next week. We're going to talk about chastity, or saying that you are celibate till getting married, is exclusively for virgins, not for you. Not when you got 2 or 3 kids, and not when you got high mileage on that 300,000 miles on that Ford car. Come on, bruh. Let's continue.
You're going to see the real them come out. You're going to see the real person come out.
Oh, yes, you will.
Who is supposed to care for you and love you. You're going to see
loving
the
you
real
is paying
them
for
come
it.
out, and you're going to be like, dang.
We just established that loving you is paying for the P. I mean, if we're going to operate like that, ladies, then let's operate like that. But gents, guys who are following me, let's keep it real. But Jonathan said in Chicago, for every 1 black man, there's 15 black women. I think I'm in a rotation of women like a lot of my friends. Listen, low key, I've really thought about what retirement might look like. And it might look like a 5-bedroom house with a lot of these lonely women with their cat. And each of them get a bedroom. And I just rotate from room to room, Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Because where they going? The odds are, if a man is making over 100,000, there's 8 of you to that one man. So who we fooling? You 50, 60, and you talking about I'm looking for real love and monogamy, and what is my reward for hard work? I get to take care of you and them kids? Oh, my kids don't need a daddy. They come by for Christmas and Thanksgiving, don't they? I still gonna see them, and they still gonna try and sabotage our relationship. Girl, get out of here. If that's what you want, if we're gonna do pay to play, then it only makes sense that I have variety. And what I says go. There is no, I'm strong and independent. No. Be strong and independently cook dinner. That's what we're going to be on. Continue.
They're only with me because I'm paying half their bill. Because if you left, they still got to pay the bills anyway. Okay? If you left, they still coming out of their pockets.
So
a lot of women don't even really know.
So because I would be paying the bills anyway, why do I need you? And that's where we get to. Are you bringing pay all the bills money? Because here's the thing. You step into me, virgin. And I said this before. Clearly, a lot of y'all brothers don't get it. Ain't no woman a 10 unless she got virgin behind her name. You could be bad as a mug. But the best you can get if you ain't a virgin is a 9. We have to hold the title of virgin in its place. Top of the class. Hell, a 8 could be a 10 if she a virgin. Why are we not cherishing and honoring that title? So if you want me to pay all the bills, first question, are you a virgin? Oh, you're not? Okay. So then you're going to follow my program, my leadership, my direction, and I'm going to take care of these bills? If not, shut the F up and we're going to split some of this stuff. I got the mortgage. You cover the utilities. Do something. But there's no way. Or, oh, you want to work? Okay, let's keep it traditional. Your check go to my account because I run the house. I control the finances. That's how you want it? Oh, no. You want to keep your money, but take all of mine. So what's yours is mine, but what's mine is mine. How that make sense? Nah. Y'all don't want equality. You want to put your heel on the neck of a man and run and control him and dig into him. Y'all don't love. You're not capable of love. This is prostitution. And now that we understand, modern women, the role, it's about the money. So let's do it like that. Shut up about monogamy. I don't want to hear it. When I say it's time, get on all fours and get it. And I want enthusiasm too. That's not what you want. You said you wanted a man to be a leader and provider. Elmer said, dudes in Pittsburgh don't want to be stepdads. Women, they have kids. Us in Pittsburgh, they want us to be a stepdaddy. No, they want you to be a step simp. What do they say? They want the futures, but they want the Russell Simmons to come rescue them. Nah, because when you had no kids, you didn't look at Russell. But then when you got drugged through with a dude with 5, 6, 7 kids from other women, now you want to be rescued. Now you know how to act right. Man, if you don't.
Oh, that they're being taken advantage of. They're really being taken advantage of if you put in any type of money towards any type of house bills, utility bills, and any of that stuff, you're being hacked. Because you can go and do that on your own, or you can get a roommate and then you can still date other people and look for someone who's 100% or, someone who's a total provider.
Because guys that make over 100,000 is 17% of the country. Because they're just laying around. And they're all single. For you.
Because a lot of y'all keep making excuses. But the whole problem is when women allow this. So y'all have to listen carefully. I'm not mad at y'all. I'm just telling y'all how to get out of it. And how to avoid it.
I'm telling you how to get out of it. How to destroy your family, ruin the kids, the idea of a father figure, alienate the children. I'm telling you how to get out of it, go for self, to go sleep with a man that got 7 other kids so you could be number 8. But he pay all the bills. He pay all the bills. She probably will do a rebuttal, Nick. She will. She's going to read this, and the logic makes no sense. And again, many women are emotional creatures. And she's operating in that space. This is devoid of logic and rational thinking. At the end of the day, somebody's got to make the French fries. Some people are going to make a lot of money. Some aren't. And the average ones are in the $45,000 range. And many of you women, if you subscribe to this mindset, let's take her subscribership. 650,000 of you subscribers. You think all of you are going to get a top 10% guy? Realistically, 500,000 of you are going to have to share. 100,000 of you, of your 650, may get him. But the rest of you, he doesn't exist. It's a unicorn, a figment of your imagination, a dream. Now, unless you're down with sharing, you will die alone.
When women allow this, they're allowing all these men to witness, okay, well, women will live with us if, and pay half the bills. If women stop doing that and stop agreeing to live with grown men who ask you for money, then they're going to have to figure out a way to up their money or to pay all the bills, which they probably can anyway. They won't even expect you to do it. It will already be created to where a man would look stupid asking a woman to pay for any type of household bills in the house if he is with her.
It's a good point. And again, I think we're at the point at which I'm willing to make a true confession on this. Ideally, I prefer that. Ideally, I prefer to be in a relationship where I'm taking care of all the bills. I think it would be best suited for my children to have a mother to be stay at home. If I'm going to be a traditional male, and you haven't specified if I need to have a car, you haven't specified how big of a house I need to have. So, being that the Toxic Reality Show is brought to you live and direct, and your host, Gordon Nathaniel, is here in Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, let me say it right. That's my plan. I'm gonna buy a bunch of brownstones. Fix them up, rent them out. But for me, my plan is to own my joint outright. We don't need to talk about rent. Oh, I just love being with Gordon because he don't even ask me to pay for no girl, because I own it outright. I don't pay. I'm not gonna ask you for a mortgage or rent. When I bought the crib for $5,000 and it put $100,000 to fix it up over a few years, why would I? So if that's what you want, but understand what that comes with. Nobody care about your degree. They don't care about your job. You quitting that, right? Because I'm taking care of all the bills. Right? So we go where I would say I want to go. And if, because a lot of these women, you meet them, they're like, I've been to 20 different countries and this, that, and the other, and I'm looking for a good man. No, they're looking for a sponsor. They're looking for someone to pay for continued travel because they look at you as a sucker who's going to pay all of the bills and that they can extract your hard earnings from and spend frivolously. That's not building. When you come to me with spending money on trips, spending money on cars, spending money on clothes, spending money. There's nothing about how do we increase. This woman intends to come in with her income, exploit yours, and think that's a fair trade, and I only get one.
You know what I'm saying? They won't ask anymore if y'all stop doing it. They won't expect it anymore if y'all say no. They won't expect it ever if y'all look down upon anyone who expects you to sleep with them, claim you as theirs, and they're going to start waking up and saying, you know what? We can't move women in our house if we can't pay all the bills. Can't do it. So, a lot of them guys that y'all are paying to live with, they're laughing at you behind your back. And half the time, or most of the time, y'all also get cheated on while paying half the bill so he can spend whatever pocket change or leftover money he got from not paying all.
So if you're paying 50-50 and he's cheating on you, so if he pays all the bills, then cheating's not a penalty? Is that what we're saying? I agree. If I'm paying all the bills, I get to have as much much free time and play time with as many women as I feel like it. I agree. Absolutely. I'll pay all the bills in exchange for that. That I could go ahead when you want to have that attitude and be funky, or just because I can go and do whatever I want. I applaud that. I'm with it.
Full of bills on other women or other men. Okay? So y'all have to know, y'all are giving them extra money to save, to put away, to give to another woman, to do whatever they need to do with it. And
whatever they need to do with it, you imbecile. We're taking the money to build a future. Retirement. Where am I taking it to do whatever we want with it? Where do you come from? We are earning money to provide so that when we retire, you don't have to say, welcome to Walmart shoppers. That's what we're doing this for. So we can retire and live comfortably. Meanwhile, all you want to do is vacation, buy clothes, and travel. Things that cost us 20 to 50 to 100,000 a year. But when we 65 and ain't got no work, that 25, 50, and 100,000 gonna really come in handy then. When you need a nurse to help you wash, we're gonna need bread. We're gonna need a good 20 years of money to survive and live off of. All of them vacations ain't gonna mean jack. On my tombstone, it ain't gonna say, here lies Gordon, who took many travels and and his wife got to trick off and have nice clothes, and she got the new Benz every 2 years because she didn't have to pay any bills, and he did all of these things. It's just gonna say father and husband. Devoted father, loving husband. That's it. And what's it gonna say about you? Strong and independent? Boss chick?
You coming out of your pocket to live with a grown, able-bodied man. That doesn't make sense. I feel like...
Now, let's keep it real now. Now, there's the other side of that. Two young people coming together. Rebuilding. Really. We're going to do something together. And we're going to be committed. Because the whole tax code in America is meant to incentivize and give you an advantage if you are married. You get tax breaks. So if you are building together and you're young and you're starting out and you only make 40, 50,000 and she only makes 40, 50,000, collectively, you now have 100,000. Y'all could do something. And then over the next 20 to 30 years, it increases and it grows. Now you doing 75 together, and possibly you reach 100 together. Now y'all are making 200 grand together because you chose to stay together. There was a study done. 95% chance of avoiding poverty. Finish high school. 3 things. Finish high school. Get married. Have a child after you get married. I'll add number 4, stay married. You have a 95% chance of avoiding poverty by just doing those 4 simple things. She's telling you, if he ain't paying all your bills, destroy the family unit. And if you have a daughter raised by a single mother, statistically, has over a 700% chance of her being pregnant by 18, but let's not look at facts. Elmer, you're right. Some women do need to see this. Because we're operating in reality. And sometimes reality is toxic to people because they can't handle the truth. This isn't, I hate women. This is, y'all are missing the bag in the bigger picture. Men want to get married. They don't want to get divorced. And this preaching, you're cracking the whip on this man. He got to pay all the bills. And I agree. There's certain men who can. But just understand, 70% of them don't make that kind of money to do it alone. Why? Because men took a step to the side and said women are equal partners and we can work together. The industrial complex was happy to take in another 50% of society as employees because it suppressed wages. Before, when there's supply and demand, let's take a number, for example, 100 million, right? We got 100 million people in the United States and only 50 million can work, but we got 60 million jobs. Whoa, employers got to pay if they want that person. You add another 50 million people into it, now we got 60 million jobs with 100 million people. I don't need to pay that much. And then women have the nerve for men who stood shoulder to shoulder with women for the women's suffrage movement 100 years ago, stood shoulder to shoulder and said, agree, you should also be able to job. You should have a job. You should also have a driver's license. You should be able to afford all of these basic human rights. And the way you reward men for it is to say, pay for it all. You're a boy. I make more than you, and you're not enough of a man for me. What do? They insult you. What do? Signs. Shame. Insults. Guilt. The need to be right.
A lot of women don't see it from this perspective, and that's why they continue to do it. And it's sad, but y'all need to stop. Just wean them off one bill at a time if you have to. Tell them, give them a month, give them 2 months to come up with the rest of the money. They can do it. If you left tomorrow, they would have to.
If you left tomorrow, I would exercise my passport. Why would I want to be with a modernized Western woman who's expecting $150,000 a year when I can get Juanita or Marisa or Nugasa in Africa or Gretchen in Eastern Bloc Europe, Ukraine, who will happily do all of these things, or I'm running out of names to make up, but Juanita in Honduras or Venezuela or Panama, who's happy, where the average U.S. salary in Latin American countries is $15,000 a year. $15,000 U.S. is the average salary. I go down there with a remote job making $50K a year. I'm a king. So what? And if they're like, oh, those women just want to drain you for your money, so do y'all. So if I got to choose between losing $150 a year or $15K and getting a dime, 21, 22-year-old, or your 35, 40-plus-year-old self with 2 kids for $150 a year and heavily used mileage on the box, on the shifter, what's the better option? I'm going to Juanita in Honduras and Nicaragua and eating up all the Latin American food I can, fresh, healthy, and she loved me. Because my expectation is I pay all the bills and I can afford them at $15K a year. You can fart that out. Right? Here we go.
Sprinkle, sprinkle. Right?
Sprinkle, sprinkle, drizzle, drizzle.
Appreciate you. So, think about this. If you left tomorrow, they would have to pay all the bills. So why can't they do it now? You understand? Before you, weren't they paying all the bills unless they was living with a mama or a roommate? So then why do they need your money? You should be saving all of your money, especially if you're in a relationship with a grown man. You should be allowed to save your money and him pay all the bills.
That was... Did y'all hear that? She said, you should be allowed to save all your money. Meanwhile, he pays all the bills. This is sick. So what you doing with the money? While I'm paying all the bills. If it's team us, what you doing with our money? You're a depreciating asset. From the minute you hit 25, you start going down. And then as you hit 30, it starts dropping. Right? 20, 18, she goes up. 25, then it starts going down slow. Then she turns 30 and it slopes down. Then she turns 40, 50. What am I getting? You should be able, she said, you should be allowed to keep your money while he pays the bills. Ma'am, if you had a son, would you tell your son that's a fair deal? Would you tell your brother that? You would tell your son, I'm raising you to pay all the bills while she saves all the money for her parachute to leave you and drain you dry. That's it, baby. That's what mommy wants for you. Jesus Christ. We're ruined.
That's what it's about, because he's supposed to be, improving your life. Gina, sprinkle, sprinkle, husband will.
He's supposed to be improving your life. So what do you do to mine? Depreciate it? Deplete it? Extort it? Destroy it? Ruin it? Devalue it? Emasculate it?
Only pay for what he thinks is necessary for me. Then don't sleep with him. I wouldn't be sleeping with him no more. I wouldn't even look at him, talk to him, have no type of eye contact with him until he get it together.
She loves sprinkle, sprinkle. So she's telling this woman to withhold sex and intimacy from her husband unless he gets what he wants. So I stopped paying these bills. Then what? We gonna play that game? I stopped paying these bills. I stopped paying these bills and doing my part. Then what happens? Now you homeless, right? And I'm moving somebody who will, right? That's what you say. Oh, my desires are too much. What I'm asking for is too much, huh? I'm out there working 8, 10, 12 hours to be able to provide for this household. And when I come home, I say that you got to be in high heels, wearing a little skirt and apron, and come running and get to me before the dog get to me at the front door, greeting me, giving me a kiss. Hi, baby. Sit down in the sofa. I got your drink. Have a seat. Here's the remote in your other hand, baby. And I got dinner. I'm going to go ahead and serve it. First course is coming up. Oh, you look a little tired. Let me go ahead and get on my knees and help you relieve some pressure. You gonna do that? But you telling her to withhold sex, to use it as currency. Modern day women equate marriage and a relationship as something you should pay them for. It's prostitution.
Sprinkle, sprinkle. I would ignore him and pretend like he's not even alive. And I wouldn't pay no bill. I would take any bill that was in my name out of my name. I would literally just act like he did not exist. Just like a roommate passing in the night. Okay? Because he's not your man. He's your roommate. Look, say, well, somebody else will pay for it. Sprinkle, sprinkle. This is what a lot of men need to realize. If you don't pay for it, I don't care if you got a ring on her finger. I don't care if y'all got a marriage license. She could still go anywhere and get another man to pay for something if he like her enough.
Y'all dumbasses. I can't tell you how many women over 40 may talk like that online. But you get them in the bedroom, and it's a completely different conversation. They're lonely. They're tired of petting the cats and dogs. They're tired of sitting around with their girlfriends talking about how men ain't got nothing to offer. And they just want the same thing that a man wants. And that's love, intimacy. But you listen to all of this nonsense, and you've thrown away good men. Over what? Following this rhetoric that will promise you to be single. Because guess what? If I get with you at 30 and I'm paying all of the bills, and you tell me, oh, you ain't taking care of all the bills, 10 years, 15 years into this, you now 45, and you tell me, oh, you need to pay more bills, I'm taking some of this stuff out of my name, and this, that, and the other. Okay, bye. I'm going to get me a new 25-year-old. Good luck. And now your ass is 45 years old on the dating market, getting ran through like a dick carousel, passing from man to man, and then inevitably you crying about, where are all the good men I'm looking for a serious relationship. If you're not looking, I'm not into one night stands, meaning that dudes have run through her in one night stands. Swipe left. They on all the dating apps, and dudes are just running through them, not committing. That's what you want? And then your arrogance and pride is so strong, you won't go back to him and say, I messed up. I'm 45. My value isn't here of a 25-year-old. It's down here. And if I got to pay all the bills for a 45-year-old and all the bills for a 25-year-old, I'm taking the 25-year-old. This isn't hard science. You're an idiot. And you gave up something good.
He's pretty enough. If she's flirty enough, a man will jump on an opportunity, to help a woman out that he finds attractive. And y'all husbands get very complacent and y'all don't realize another man will.
I will for somebody else.
And then the men want to act all shocked. We asked you, we told you, we put videos out, we hashtag sprinkle. If you don't get it by now, then maybe you'll get it when another man is paying for your woman. Okay? I mean, really. I know a lot of men will get mad at this. You can't even get mad if you can't pay 100% for your woman. You can't even get mad. What are you going to be mad about? You can't afford a woman. You can't even get mad if you're losing in that relationship because you can't even afford it. You really have to do that. Okay?
A moment of silence, please. Elmer said, no, it's like there's so many women out. There are a couple baby daddies, and the dudes are learning that it doesn't benefit them to be stepdads. These chicks. These chicks, when they are 45 and 50, you know what? We need a word. We need a word right now. What we need to do is we need a great frame of reference. And let's speak to Brother Samuels in heaven to once again explain to men the age differences and what you have to offer. Ladies, I bring to you, sweet Jesus, please make a sign so that I can talk to Kevin.
Yeah, 27, time to sell. 30, 50% off. Over 35 on clearance. 40, outlet. 50, Goodwill. Salvation
Army. Rest in peace, brother. He tried to tell y'all, and now we're finding out more and more the wisdom and knowledge of the late, great Kevin Samuels. As you go older in age, your asset depletes. You want to hold on to that man. That ain't the time to be more restrictive. Quite the opposite. You see them women up in the gym, 40, 50 years old, killing themselves on that treadmill to keep that 20-year-old body because they know that little receptionist 22-year-old in the office can take her man. And they're working. They're at the tennis club, getting it in, sweating. 2-hour workouts, trying to keep that body tight. Because they know the competition, half her age. 45-year-old woman knows that 22-year-old can eat a dozen pizzas and still stay slim. She got to be eating fruit punch, blended vegetable medleys to hold on to her figure. The game is fixed. And the way the sweet Lord made the game is men, as we grow older, may not have jack at 22, starting to have a little something at 30, start hitting our stride at 40, and whoa, we off to it. Women, your highest value is 18 years old. Then you talking about, I want to get my career, and you hit 35, but guess what? Science is working against you. Don't marry no woman over 35 years old if you want kids. Are you crazy? A 30-year-old woman has a 1 in 1,000 chance of producing a child with autism or Down syndrome. A 40-year-old woman, 40 years, just 10 years later, that number goes to 1 in 100. The older she is over 30, the higher risk of autism and Down syndrome. Google it. I did. So meanwhile, society's pushing these women to go ahead and get their advanced degrees and hold off on marriage and starting families. You wonder why the rate of autism has gone up, don't you? Between the glyphosate and the products in our food. Notice the Amish ain't having this problem. You're producing eggs. You are ovulating at 12, 13, 14 years old. Because of modern industrialized society, we've created this idea that you have to wait till 18. That's not the way God made it. God made the female body that at 13, 14, she could start having kids. And in some cultures, women are still getting married at 13, 14 years old. Because that's when you can start having kids. But okay, we go with high school graduation. Now they're in college. That's another 4 years. Now you're 22. These are your prime years. Your best years. The best eggs. The best of the best that you have to offer. No, I want to work on my career. 5 years. 27. 28, they start thinking about getting married. You get serious relationships. They've run through 20, 30 guys by now, going to bars. They're making good money. They don't have to buy drinks because guys are buying them drinks, and then they're on the penis carousel, riding from penis to penis. Then she finds a simp. After 100 other guys smashed her, here comes you. Here you come, the knight in shining armor. Captain Save a Simp, here for duty. I don't care about your history. I love you. Problem is she can't pair bond to you because she's had so many sex partners that now she can't cling to you. Her oxytocin, non-existent or burnt out. She can't pair bond. You're in a relationship for 2 to 4 years. She's 32 now. Now you're down to 1 in 800 chance of autism. Oh, we just got married. Let's pay off our student loans and let's work towards buying a home. 4 years later, 36. 1 in 400. You've increased your chances of having a special needs child. It's not the way whether you want to call it God or anatomy. The older a woman gets past, really 25, but 30, I'd much rather 1 in 1,000 than 1 in 100. Right? And that's just autism. What about autism and Down syndrome? What about any other complication? Because you're using old eggs. Now, just because you want to get married, you see some of these women on these dating sites, you guys are sending me this stuff, and they're like, 40, I'm ready to start a family. At 40? You out your mind? But these women got you. You're listening to these advice columns. This woman is telling you that you should wait to have sex with your husband if he ain't paying all the bills, and that you should start taking things out of your name. I'm telling you right now, you start doing that move, I'm sensing divorce, I'm out. I'm lawyering up. Oh, that's what we're doing? And then good luck on the dating scene. Now, all of y'all don't look like Sierra. I'm trying to tell you. Right? And look what she picked. She went from bad boy to good Christian man who rescued her. And I ain't got nothing against Russell. But why didn't she pick Russell the first time? He was playing football. His first wife, the white woman, did. She saw his value, but you didn't. Yeah. So, all this to say, gentlemen, please pay attention. interview these women and find out their mindset. Because you know what? There's, in my opinion, I told you my answer at the end, there's room for both. If I'm going to be a 100% guy, which I prefer, yeah, I prefer to be 100%. We're going to live off of my income. And if my income is $50,000, that's the income that we living off of. And if my income is $100,000 or $200,000, that's the income we living off of. Don't pressure me about getting a higher job, higher paying job. Nope. You accept me for where I am and you stay under my leadership, my provision, my protection. And for some women, you know, you got your job and you want to work together. You can't have two captains of the ship. Somebody got to lead the boat. Someone has to be the responsible party. And if you want a beta male or an effeminate male, they're out there. And for some people, working 50-50 works. There's nothing wrong with that. If you truly are desiring to build a future together, or you just trying to fatten this man up, take that little piglet and make it a nice big 600-pound boar to prepare for slaughter. Which one are you doing? Are you really building, or are you just trying to fatten him for the kill? For Thanksgiving, without thanks. That's the decision you have to make, modern women. And for the traditional women out there, I know you're probably appalled watching this. 650,000 people subscribe to that mindset. I don't want that for you. Not my business. But as this society continues to go down this road, traditional men or men in general are saying, I'll just exercise my passport. I got to put up with this. And inevitably, you're going to die out from the heat of lack of attention. All you'll have is Pookies and Ray Rays and Chads and Manuels who will run through you for lack of options, because men around the world aren't breaking their necks to have American women. No. So you need to heed a warning and see what's coming. Because I would much rather, in this global society, exercise my options overseas, where I'm appreciated, valued, and the sole provider. And in doing so, it's my way or the highway. And that's it for tonight. Gentlemen, until next time, I bid you adieu. I'm your host, Gordon Nathaniel, Toxic Reality Show. Please subscribe, like, get notifications, share this with some of your friends. Could really use your support. I'm not asking you for any money. I appreciate it. For those who have, I'm grateful. Thank you. But the best thing you could do for me right now is share it with a friend, right? Best thing you could do is share with a friend. And I'd appreciate your support and continued viewership. That being said, God bless.